Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Be So Light. How's everyone doing? Okay, well, we're going to get into it today. So, I put the title in a way that the AI could read it and not categorize it in different ways. So, I never really talked about how I got onto my path other than the fact that um, welcome to Be So Light. My name is Felicia, as well as Niana, as well as Priestess Makala. So, this is the deal. I was raised Catholic, okay? Catholic. And we went to church every Saturday, Sunday, midnight mass, um, all of that heavy going in a Catholic way, okay? And I just remember I don't know what's going on out there. Somebody's having issues in their tissues. Um, I just remember when I had to do the catechism part of it, where you do the communion and you're going to put on your little white dress and all this stuff. And hi, lovely. I thought it was really interesting that I remember the day that I think my mom actually borrowed my dress from a neighbor that was Catholic. I think it was a dress. I see something in my eye. I think it was a dress that I had to borrow because we didn't have the money to get me a dress. Okay. This is going to be good medicine, so I hope you're ready to do this. If this is triggering for some of you, I'm going to put a disclaimer right now. If you can't handle someone talking their truth about their journey from religion way up to their freedom of spiritual way, this might not be the video for you today. Okay, because I'm going to say it like it is. I'm not sugarcoating nothing. I've been on this planet long enough where I can say whatever the hell I want to say. So I believe we borrowed the dress. I think someone had already had their communion. They had the dress, and it was like they didn't know what they went ahead and gave it to me or let me use the dress. I can't remember it. I just remember my mom got the dress, and it had this little veil and the dress thing had the gloves. We got the gloves to go with it. Had some new white shoes to go with it, my little white bobby socks that went along with it. And I just remember I said, "Why am I doing all this, mommy?" She said, "Because you're 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 going to give yourself to God. You're going to be protected under God. This is a part of being Catholic." And I said, "So am I marrying God? Because I look like is this like a wedding dress or something?" I just remember saying, like, getting married to God? What is this? She says, no, 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 it's a part of what we do as being Catholic. And, you're expected to every Saturday or Sunday go do communion and confess your sins to the priest. All right. Okay. Now we go forward. So I do the little wear the dress, walking down. I remember I was all excited and I was so happy, like I was in a righteous way. I was doing my thing, and he gave me the bread, and we drank the blood of Christ, the wine, and had the bread, the body of Christ. Even then, they were doing it anyway. You see that look I just did, right? So I'm thinking, oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Yay, yay. So I remember after that was done, I felt different. I felt weird. I felt like I like a fear of doing anything that would upset God, I was going to go to hell. Okay. It was like this automatic thing that happened. And I remember it very clearly. It was the next day. I was feeling like if I did anything bad, if I wasn't doing everything right like I was supposed to, God was going to get angry with me and I wasn't going to make it to heaven and I was going to be in hell. And it was a bad place to go. Okay. Now we go forward. I'm indoctrinated into going to church on Saturdays, going to all the clubs, the church functions, all the Catholic things, all everything Catholic, 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 Catholic parties, midnight mass. Oh God, I don't know what it was about midnight mass. I just remember a lot of people falling asleep in midnight mass. Yes. Hey! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, it's good. Oh, this is the first part of the religion, Catholic. Okay. Now, as I was doing the Catholic thing, I had a spiritual grandmother who was Jehovah's Witness. So I get my Catholic Bible. I still have to this day because it was given to me from my grandmother who was on the other side. So there you go. Then my spiritual grandmother, who was Jehovah Witness, every time we would go out to Clear Lake, that was like our second home. Hang out. It was all about Jehovah Witness. It was all about the pamphlets. It was all about the watchtower. I was like, "What's the watchtower? Who's in the watchtower? Who's watching from the watchtower?" She would never tell me it's God, you know. And she gave me a green Jehovah Witness Bible, and she said, "You got to have this Bible with you. It's going to be your way to get through life, and this is the only way you can do it." And I was like, "What?" But she was my herbal teacher because she had no problem going out into the front yard, out into the back in the gardens, any kind of weed that would come up. She had root medicine. So she had no problem saying, "Not feeling right, honey? Come on, I'm pulling you up some of these plants here." And she make a tea, give it to me. I go, "What is this?" She said, "Take it. It's good for you." I said, I remember I was arguing with her one day about I was just finishing up my first semester of nursing school. And I remember telling her she had pulled up the sour grass and how you can pull it up and you eat it and it's sour, it tastes real good. I was sitting on the swing, and as I was on the swing and I'm listening to her, she goes, one day man's going to have to go back to plants. You're going to have to get used to this, knowing what your plant medicine is. I go, "Oh, Grandma, I'm not going to have to worry about that. That's why I'm going into nursing. I don't want to have to worry about all that. That's what the doctors are for. That's what the nurses are for. You don't have to worry." I was so naive, so arrogant and ego. So not listening to an elder telling me the ways. I just figured being me, because I'm in nursing school, I'm doing the right thing. And boy, was she right. What are we doing now? Going back to those ways. I've been in those ways. I only use medical when I absolutely have to. Otherwise, I'm drinking plant medicine. Otherwise, I'm out in the back pulling up plants. Mugwort, thank you very much. Basil, all kind of things. She was right. So did the Jehovah Witness thing. All right. And here's the reason. Because I kept looking for truth. I was looking for truth. Yep. Yes. 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 She was all into that. Yes. So this is what made me start questioning the Catholic way. So my mom and I, my brother, I think he fell asleep. But we were at church, and I will never, ever forget this. This was indated in my mind, and this is when I started questioning everything, even the priest, and I got in trouble for it because I questioned it. The priest comes up, and it was Father Bob. I still to this day remember that. Anyway, he comes up to the front of the congregation and he's up there. He's got his regalia on, and it was during the holidays. He got up there, and I'll never forget it. I will never forget this. He was a big priest, one of those kind of looking like messing with the children kind of priests. You know what I'm saying? Hmm. Now I understand. I understand. Okay. I understand what was going on with the altar boys. So he stands up there. And this was, I believe we were going into the holidays, and he wanted to make sure everybody was going to be coming to midnight mass. He got up there and made a guilt statement to all of us. And he picked on one culture. He picked on the Filipino culture. And this is in Vallejo. Thank you very much. In Vallejo, um, I want to say the church, but I'll be respectful. Um, but I'll be respectful for other people because this was that timeline. Okay, at that timeline, and I'm pretty sure his ass ain't alive no more. So he got up there. He says, "All of you coming in here now, and we're getting ready to go into midnight mass ceremony and everything. And some of you come when you want to. You don't come like you should. You should be coming every Saturday, every Sunday. You should be doing your communion. You should be doing your confessions. You're not doing it. And what is up with all of you Filipinos coming over here into our country, taking over everything?" I was just like, I looked at my mom and I go, she goes, "I don't know." And I remember because I had a lot of Filipino friends. The school that I went to, a lot of Filipinos. My first boyfriend was Filipino. Okay. So he just like stepped on everybody's toes when he did that. And he said it and he said, "Yeah, you're all coming over here, taking over the jobs, you're taking over everything. You just think you own everything." I could not believe it. He said this in the church on his little microphone. He's talking on church. And there was just like hush in the crowd. He goes, "That's why everybody needs to be confessing. Are you really that good? Are you really good?" And I just remember standing there saying, if he's a man of the cloth, why is he talking like that? Why is he picking on people and talking very badly? Shouldn't he be very godly? Shouldn't he be looking out for the welfare of the people? And why is he doing this? This was after the incident, after I was put in Sunday school before going into regular school, high school. My parents put me in Sunday school, put me in Catholic school. I lasted like 2 weeks. I said, "Take me out of this. I don't like being abused." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because the nun likes to come up and hit me with a ruler on my hands if I don't get my answers right. She's rude to me. I want to be in a regular school with regular people. No, I don't want to. I'm not going back to that." So my parents took me out, saved them a whole bunch of money. Took him out. Mm, yes, it gets worse. So he stands up there and he says all this stuff, belittles everybody, guilt trips everyone. And after it was all said and done, the way he cut the whole church down and picked on the people, calling out the Filipinos and saying that they were doing this and that, and you guys are coming up in our country. I mean, this priest is saying that. And I'm just standing there like, hmm, And it's like a light goes off in my head, like, okay, why is this priest doing this? Why is he saying this? Okay, so I waited, didn't go to midnight mass. I talked to my parents. I talked to my mom. I said, that doesn't feel right to me. So I waited. When I went back to church, he was there. And I remember he went into the confession box. He said, "Are you coming into confession?" I said, "Oh yeah, 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 I'm coming." So he's on this side. I'm on this side. You know what time it is. You know what I did, right? I go in, figure he ain't gonna do nothing. What he gonna do? I said, "Yes, Father." I said, He goes, "What was your sin?" I said, "Listening to someone that is representing God and cutting down other people and making us all feel bad about ourselves during a mass. That didn't feel very godly. And I'm now starting to question all about priests and what your duty is. And why do I have to go through you in the first place to go talk to God and talk to Jesus? I should be able to do that on my own. When I'm praying at night, you're not standing next to me saying, okay, go ahead and do your prayer. I'm here now, so you can be heard. You're not standing there next to my bed. So why can't I go ahead and do it now?" He got quiet and I'm waiting. I'm like, oh shit. He goes, sometimes people do things and say things they later regret saying. And I said, okay. But because you just spoke the way you just did, you need to forgive. So you need to go and do your holy, your fathers and your Hail Marys. So here I am, because I just spoke up, I get in trouble for saying what I'm saying to his ass for what he said to the congregation. I said, okay. So I go and do it. I'm still questioning. So now we get past that. I don't go to that church no more. I go to a different Catholic church. Now I'm at the age where I'm getting ready to get like married. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm not feeling the whole Catholic thing. So then now it's time to get married. So the guy I'm getting ready to marry, love of my life at that time, he was a Southern guy. Okay. Southern white guy. Just he was brought up like with Southern Baptist, but nothing really hard, bro. But in order for us to get married, because I was Catholic, he was going to have to take the catechism type of thing, go through all of the program, and it was going to take about anywhere from almost 2 to 3 months. He had to go to service, he had to be indoctrinated into it before we could even get married. I'm like, no, I have my wedding date already picked. We're not doing all that. That doesn't fit my time. There you go. There you go. Exactly. So here we are, we're in a conference on a phone with a priest. And so, well, if you don't do it this way, then I can't marry you. And your marriage it will not be blessed. It will not stay. I said, well, that can't be true, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people who got married through any kind of church, if they have differences or what, and they got a divorce, are you saying that because if you go to a church, your marriage will last, it will prosper, and those who don't go to a church, it won't last, it'll fall apart? Well, that sounds like a journey between the two people, not the two people and the church. I'm not marrying the church. Ooh, I said that. This priest tells me, I cannot help you if you're not willing to follow the lines and fall into the placement of the Catholic ways. I said, so be it. Then I will not get married in this way. I will do it my way. Done with this. Hung up. My husband at that time, he was like, what is going on? I said, You don't need to be trying to become Catholic. That doesn't make no sense. He goes, why would I want to? I said, yeah, we're not doing that. So we went and got married up in Reno. All right. Our marriage was all about karma, soul contract. We had to get done. So that's a different story. I already talked about that. So that was complete. Free now. So during the time when we were married, we were church hopping because we were trying to find the connection with God because we weren't feeling right in all the other places that we were going into because it was making us feel weird. And because we were a mixed couple, we got a lot of looks all the time. Oh, oh, you're married. You're black and white couple. How's that? Oh, get the little underground looks. That. But yeah, and still here we are sitting in church trying to be. So we went to another Catholic church. We went to a 7-day Adventist church, and then we went to an Evangeline church. That is when I threw the towel in. We went to this church. They invited us. They said, "Oh, you got to come to our service. We have good service here, and you'll find God, and you'll get blessed with the Holy Spirit, and it'll be wonderful." And I'm like, "Okay." So my husband and I, we got up 7 o'clock in the morning, went to the 8 o'clock service or 9 o'clock. I think it started at 8 or 9. When we went to the church, the sun was up. When we left the church, there was no sun. It was dark, and the moon was up. I was like, I just remember there was so much Bible reading, so many people catching the spirit, so many people running up and down the aisles. And I remember my husband and I were just sitting there like, are we supposed to be doing this? This is our first time here. We were just seeing people, music going, I'm like, I just remember when it was getting, I think it was getting close to like, I have no idea if it was like 9 or 10. We were there all day. And I finally just said, I have got to go home. Tired. I am sleepy. I have no idea what are we doing here? He goes, I don't know. We got up and we were trying to leave. And we got stopped at the door and they said, "Oh, where are you going, brother? Where are you going, sister?" And I said, "Home." they, were like, they were like, "Well, we're not done yet. We're not finished." I said, "Well, I gotta go. I gotta go home. I gotta go." So we left there. And I remember laying in bed and we were talking about, thank you. We were talking about why are we church hopping? We went to a Baptist one. We went to all these different churches. Now, keep in mind, the church is not the problem. The church, the buildings are not the problem. It happens to be the two legs that get in there running the agenda. Okay. The churches are beautiful. I love to look at churches. I love looking at the building, the architect of it. How old is it? How long has it been around? I love historical churches looking at them. I don't have a problem. The same way I love looking at sacred temples, castles, everything that has the history of us as people on this planet, our history of how we would come together to just unite and worship the divine within, the divine, to capture that divine, to hear it speak to us, to be in that space and love and unity and peace, to come together for that. Sharing love, sharing a meal together. come together for that. Come together for the union of blessing of a new baby being born, blessing of the unity of people who decided to unite together and walk life together as a husband and wife. The unity of celebrating that someone has crossed over into the beautiful realm of the spirit world, honoring their life as they went into that. We come together as a people in a unity. That's what it really is about. Listening and feeling and speaking and holding, becoming that light of divine. That's what we look for. We're not trying to get away from God. We're trying to unite and keep the essence of that God light in us, because we have so much outside of us that's trying to tell us who can have it, how long you can have it, what you got to do to have it. If you're not doing it right, you can't have it. And if you keep screwing up, you're going to go to hell. And oh, yeah, and the lake of fire is going to come and get you. Let me tell you like this. During those times, I was so paranoid of every single thing that I was doing. And I wasn't the only one that was going through that. My boyfriend at the time when I was in high school, Catholic way, he was in a trying to figure out if he was getting pressure to become a priest. Okay, he's Filipino. He was getting pressure to become a priest. And I said, well, why don't you do what you want to do? Why do you have to do what your parents? Well, they're pressuring me. I go to church all the time and I'm studying and I just want to do the right thing. And I remember we were out on a date and I wanted to get chocolate chip cookie. So I got a chocolate chip cookie. He got one. He went into a panic mode if God would want him to have a chocolate chip cookie. I was questioning then. Why should we be in panic? So, long story short, I left all of that. I got tired of being punished for speaking my truth and asking questions. I got tired of feeling like walking on eggshells, like if I don't do the right thing, I'm going to go to hell. I got sick and tired of that. I got tired of my religion is better than your religion. You need to come over here, da 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 da. And one day I snapped and I said, who the hell knows which Bible is the right one? Why do we got all these different freaking books that's supposed to be saying the word and it's all different? Why? I like lost my shit. Yes, I had to do the same thing because was, I remember I told a priest that I had a dream about my dad getting into a car accident, and it was a vision. And I told my dad, and my dad didn't take me seriously. And sure enough, that night he was in a car accident. So I carried this guilt, like I didn't tell him soon enough. Like I only told him on that day, and I didn't tell him soon enough. And I told the priest that priest takes me and tells me, "Oh, now you're speaking to the devil. Now you have to go get you. I have to cleanse you, and you cannot have any more visions or anything. You do that, the devil is coming for you." So then all the things I used to do when I was small, talking to the angels, I would draw out artwork of angels coming, and they would come and talk to me. And I would draw these cartoon figures of an angel, of the person, and the message of the angel. And I would give it to a friend and say, "Here, this angel wants you to have this. This angel wants you to da 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 da." And I was always drawing pictures of angels, and angels would come and talk to me at night. They would just show up on the playground. I would just be like having communication with angels and everything. And my parents just thought I just had an overactive imagination. But my mom, she knew. She knew my gifts were coming on. She knew I was gifted because it's in the bloodline on her side of the family. So my mom knew. And she just kept waiting. And then one day when my gifts got really pronounced, She literally had fear in her eyes. And she says, don't let everybody know what your gifts are because I don't want anybody to come and take you away from me because they want to study you. My mom said that even back in that time because they want to study you. We keep our stuff quiet. So, yeah, those gifts started coming on. And then when I finally said it's time for me to get out of this, that's when I started looking. What did it is working for this lady at Bernice at Unusual and Unique, Fair Oaks, California. This antique psychic store. So I go there and take this part-time job working there. I don't know. I I just saw this help sign. I said, "Oh, I'll go ahead and do this." And that's when I started seeing all the candles and tarot cards and statues of Egypt, Isis, Anubis. And I started feeling like, why does this feel so familiar to me? But I was scared because I still was, I'm newly married and my husband and I were still doing the hopping around church thing but I'm in this store working for this lady and I'm like, why does this feel familiar? Why does it make me feel what is going on? And then she said, you're not awake. That's all she said. She walked away. She was kind of stoic. But then, after I had been there about, about a month, I started questioning everything. And it seemed like every time I went to work there, I was getting activated to remember who the fuck I am. I am not a religion. I'm not Catholic. I'm not the Christian. I'm not the Seven-Day Adventist. I'm not the Jehovah Witness. I'm not the Evangeline. I'm not the Baptist person. I'm not um, uh, Presbyterian. I'm not that. I'm something, but I'm not those titles. And then it happened. One day that I was there. Yes, this one's Moonstone. I got this one. This was a gift to me over 20 something years ago. My good friend gave it to me after I found out my cancer went into remission. I had healed myself. And she gifted me this, and this has been with me ever since. Can't find good pieces like this. Um, then it happened. I I'm working, and this lady comes in with this red hair and those piercing eyes. And she walks in, had on a long dress. She's wearing black and had some pretty colors on dress on her. She brought up the candles to the front and this and some Egyptian stuff. And she saw the Isis statue that was 400 something dollars. She liked it. She says, I want that. She got it, brought it up. Big sale for me. I was like, shit, yeah. Yeah, you want to buy it? My boss will love you. So she looks at me and she goes, you're new here. I go, yeah. She goes, I've been watching you. You're asleep. I go, I don't know what you're saying. I'm asleep. I'm standing here looking at you. I'm awake. She goes, no, you're asleep. You have no idea why you're here, do you? You don't even know why we're meeting right now, do you? I know why. I know who you are. I remember who you are. I go, I just met you. She goes, no, I'm talking about in the spirit world. I know who you are. And I'm here to help you wake up. I was like, okay, this lady's crazy. I better watch out. She kind of cray. So said, well, she might need some Haldol. She might need some time, some Advil or something. I don't know. I might have to call a doctor for it. I'm mumbling underneath my breath. And they give her all her stuff. And I said, well, you have a nice day. She goes, my name is Dorothy. I'll be seeing you. I'm like, Dorothy. Okay. Like Yellow Brick Road? She goes, something like that. And I'm like, okay. So she leaves. And lo and behold, she comes back. And I remember this was around, I think we were going into fall before Halloween. We were going into something. She comes in. She has this paper with her. She goes, I was hoping I would see you today. And I was told I would see you today. Here, don't open it yet. I go, what is this? She goes, if you really want to wake up and remember who you are, you will speak these words that are here on this paper under a full moon, preferably after a good shower and sea salt water. Anoint yourself with rose. I go, you mean holy water? She goes, no. Sea salt water. I'm like, okay. It's time for you to wake up and remember who you are. I was like, all right. But only do it if you really want to know, because once you do it, there is no going back. What do? And I remember she gave it to me, and there was like this charge. Like I got like a static charge. I remember I went, ooh, like something jarred me. And she goes, I'll be seeing you. She walked out and left. And I was like, now, Unusual Unique store had these big windows. They still have those windows to this day. When people walk past, you can see people walking past the window. People look in the window, da da da. So that weekend was a full moon. And I remember I kept him hawing around with the paper and I kept going, oh. And then it was like something just said, do it. Remember who you are. I heard it that clearly. I'm like, what? So I got a candle. I did my wash up, my bath and everything. And I went, got the paper. And it was like, I did it like I remember being in a temples, like a priestess in the temples. Like I've done it so many times before, like the elements and everything. And when I was reading it, it was almost like I wasn't in the same place, like time had stopped and I was in like this temple. I remember seeing the fire element coming up and the winds and the water, the earth beneath my feet, but it was moving. And I just remember when I spoke the words and I said it and I looked up to the moon and I just remember capturing that essence of the moon coming through me. And I just breathed it in and I was just like, and I just remember I felt supercharged up. It was the beautiful feeling drawing down the moon. And I just felt like a veil or something, like something was lifted. And I felt so good. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? And I just remember I dreamt really good that night. I was having all these vision dreams. Things that I used to do when I was little came back, and all of the artwork things. I got so like everything. I was drawing all these pictures in the middle of the night, and planets and pyramids and two suns and moons and all this stuff, and all these painting things were coming out of me in the middle of the night, and it was like I was doing all these things. And the next week or something afterwards, I met up with her. She came in and she goes, I had a different look. She goes, you read it, didn't you? And I go, yes, I did, sister. How are you? God, I'm so sorry it took me so long to wake up. I felt like I'd just been buried in myself. She goes, welcome back. I said, oh, God, don't let me have that happen again. And it was just on. So from that point, I was under her broom. I was on her broom for about 2 years. And then after I got so far, she had told me, and this is when she says, "You will be leaving your husband. That contract won't be done because you're going to take off and you're going to be in service for the people. You're going to be doing amazing work. He has an opportunity to change in this lifetime and he is not going to do it. But you have to go on without him. You guys come around too many times trying to complete this task, and he's not going to do it this time." And she was right on the money. He didn't do it. He went dark. I went light, and we had to split. We had to go. So after I was done, she gave me like my buffalo robe, my ceremonial deer skin dress, everything. She had it, she got it, she gave it to me, and that was more bringing me in. And then I got more into my native ways and was connecting with the ancestors of my native ways, and then went and did that, and then went into my priestess, walked my pathway going into the priestess and loving that, and then finished up with the Sundance. 2016, I did the Sundance, did a huge Sundance. 2012, um, went to the Star Nation conference that was being held in Arizona, and went to that when they were having their meetings where people came in and did the 2012. And that was phenomenal to be able to dance. I had a knee injury that I was still trying to move through at that time, but I wrapped that knee up and I was able to do that dance in a circle with all of the people. We came together for 2012, and that timeline, that energy when things were changing. Things were changing then. And ever since then, from divorce through illnesses, healing from them, moving up into the self, doing that shadow work, getting in there, getting rid of that junk, um, making peace with the self, forgiving. I stepped on to my path, and my path has been ever growing. Your path will keep growing no matter what. You start off with something, but then it keeps growing. It keeps taking you to your next level, what you're supposed to be doing. Here's the gift. Your mission is all about staying true to yourself. Your mission is all about, I wish I had such an experience. Honey, let me tell you, you don't want that, because here's the thing. A lot of missions will put you through personal dark night of the soul. I went through the dark night of the soul. Not once, not twice, 3 times. I would not even wish that on my worst enemy, because it's such a, you don't know if you're going to come out of it. And there's a lot of times on that last round when I was dealing with the lymphoma cancer, I gave up. I literally laid down on my kitchen floor and said, "You know what? Just take me right now. I don't feel like fighting anymore. I'm not going to do chemo. I'm not going to do, I'll do the surgery, get that stuff out, but I'm not doing chemo. So you either heal me right now so I can finish the mission or forget it." Got healed. I guess I have to be here. Damn. But it's everyone has their connection. I had a dream and my ancestors had ceremony for, yes, pay attention to that, because when we were in dream world, and this is even for people who are adopted, even when you don't know who your, what your bloodline is, where you come from or what, you will have ancestors that will be coming to you, showing up. And you might not understand why, but they're trying to get your attention because they know who you are. They remember you. So when you have ancestors come to you in nighttime, in dream world, and they have a fire for you, I know exactly what you're talking about. When you have that fire and you can be there, and the ancestors, they show you some medicine, and then you get that medicine back with you, and you come back with it, and that's a part of you. Remember those times. Write that down. Remember that. Because now, when they give it to you, if it was back then, and they give it to you recently, it's for what's to come. You're going to be using it later. Might not know when you're going to use it, but everything our grandparents or our ancestors give us, that's when you start to collect it and you'll use it. Yes, the buffalo was the buffalo robe, the buffalo traditional buffalo robe. You know how much those things cost? The witch who turned me, I like to say that the witch who turned me, um, gifted me that and my deerskin dress. And then this is when I was able to find my grandparent. Um, he was Cherokee. Found his name. He was 1 or either 2 years old. His name was listed on the DOS as Cherokee, um, and that was on my mother's side. And I just remember when I first met Buffalo Calf Woman. I first met her when I was supposed to do Sundance, and I was scared to do. I was going being a supporter at Sundance and Hugo, and I was going there supporting the Sundance, but she literally showed up. I saw her. She showed up in front of me and she says, "You need to dance and hold this energy. You will be carrying the pipe for the people. Your pipe will be different, it will be deep for the people." And I was like, "You're Buffalo Calf Woman." She goes, "Yes, I am." I go, "Why are you talking to me? Because I can." I'm like, "You sure about that?" She's like, "Yes." And she showed me how we were supposed to do our prayer walk, how we pick up the energy when a dancer, when they're getting ready to tether, and how to help them to release. There was a certain way that we would place our feet and tap our feet onto the Mother Earth to send that vibration so that the brother who's releasing from the tethers would have a good release and not struggle. So that was wonderful when I met her. And there was one grandmother in the whole group that was questioning if I met her or not. And then I forgot, there was something that was strange that happened. And then she believed it because only white buffalo calf woman would say something like that. Something I uttered out of my mouth that I would have never known to say. I said it, and that grandmother knew. She was like, she talked to grandmother. She talked to her. But I've only seen white buffalo calf woman when I was prepping for Sundance. She came to me to start it, and then I saw her on my last one. And she only comes whenever she needs to give me a message, and it's really quick, and then she leaves. Um, so I completed that task, and I just stayed with my priestess and Sundance. I came a priestess first, and Sundancer later. Have I gone back into any churches? No, because I see the writing on the wall, and I see how painful and manipulating it is. I see when I knew how the Pope, that got me too, how they are bending down in front of a black Mary and black Jesus when we're given this is supposed to be her, but this is not the real one. And when I saw that, I was like, I actually, to be honest with you, I actually put a little bit more coloring on her because she was a little bit paler. I actually put more coloring because of the truth that's been hiding throughout the Vatican. And they were kneeling to that. And I was just that's that's a lot to take in. When you find out all the lies that's been going on and the molestations. Now I get it. The things that I saw and I didn't know what I was seeing and why there were certain choir boys crying. I didn't understand. You're blind to it. You wouldn't think that whoever is supposed to be of the cloth would be hurting someone. You don't put it together. I wasn't putting it together, you know, because you want to know why? Because you just can't see that. Why would that ever happen? They bank on you not seeing it, not putting it together. So that's how I got onto my path. And I once you know the truth, you can't unsee it. I got up off my knees. I stopped it. Now I stand in the spirit of who I am, woman, divine, sacred, all that I am. I represent my ancestors. You're looking at it. I represent the divine. You're looking at it. I represent the goddess. You're looking at it. Yes. When you see yourself in the mirror, you are all that. Right there. Right there. You're all that. And to have somebody trying to tell me I have to go through them first before I can talk to divine and the true son of God, that ain't right either. I've never been more happier to be who I am and to walk my path. It is not an easy path. It's a very lonely path. It's a very challenging path because you constantly are going to be poked at by others who want you to think and conform and fall in line like they do. You bump up all against it. I mess people up when I say, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And dare them to try to convince me. I look at them like, did you not hear me? I already spoken. What part of this did you not get? Do I need to speak it in light language to you? And that scares them because then you're speaking in tongues. They took that away too. So you wouldn't have the right to speak in your divine language. So this is who I am. Nasunda unda karesine ede. Mehendo tokoro sakaritine rati. Sa andera o korore na kari nina na resin la otore sitina dista. Seknesta yese krotue ari ari yesi. Mehena onda re na kari sina oturu tina sita. Mehena rai. San ondere kasina oleana. Mehestena etidia si. Utukusana e. Mehesukene edera sutere. Senerondeari. Maha eda eda husta karesitere. Mesekera aetera. Sukustanarita. I remember who I am. And I'm here to make sure that if you're here in this tribe, you remember who you are and why you're here. You're not your bills. They're not that. You're much more than that. And when you embrace it, and when you take it on, and you stand in the belief of who you are, no one can take that away from you. As long as you don't allow someone to put you in a box. And right now, so many of us are trying to get the fuck out of the box. We're trying to escape the box because we have outgrown the box. We don't belong in a box. We are not categorized. We are our divine light, unlimited. And when you stand in that, let me tell you something. Your fights are not just only in the physical time, you can have your fights at the nighttime. I had one last night. It was crazy because an energy came looking like somebody else. It was trying to come through the window. And it was so weird because this dream was like I was watching myself sleeping in my bed. The cat was with me, and this thing that was really pale, white hair, bangs, chapped lips, long, lanky arms, looked like a half human, half spider, but it didn't look right. And it was trying to come through the window. And the cat raised up. Now, keep in mind, this is a dream. Cat raised up. She hissed. I sat up. I said, I see it. And she was getting ready to leap for it. I go, no, T-Bell, no. I grabbed it. Don't. She hissed at the cat. And when she hissed, her mouth opened up and let out this white light to this being and shot out at this being. The being just went, ah. And I took the white light and I threw it at it. And it reached its arm through the glass and it was trying to reach towards me. And I grabbed its hand and I turned it back and I said, you have no dominion here. You must leave. And I was screaming at it. And it was making all these hissing sounds and gurgle sounds. And the cat still hissed and released more light towards this thing, was trying to kill it. And I told it again, you must leave. You are not here on this realm. You do not belong here. And then I started speaking in divine Heka. And I spoke the words, and this thing just did all this fracturing and shattered and disappeared. Went it fractured, shattered, and it went shoo. And I said, whoa. And I looked at the cat and I go, well, guess we did our work for tonight. And the cat literally looks at me and says, yes, we did. Spoke it clear. I said, and you're just now going to start speaking English to me? He said, well, I do speak to you. You understand it as my Lyran language. Meow, meow, meow. So when I woke up this morning, I was like, and the cat was coming to the door, and I let her in. And I go, you were in my dreams. He goes, meow, 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 meow. I'm like, yeah, we kicked somebody's ass last night. So pay attention to your dreams and really fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with who you are. And when your language comes in, don't be afraid to speak it. You know, um, I remember when it first came in and I was speaking my language, and I got in trouble for that. In a sweat lodge! Because nobody could understand what I was saying. So I got in trouble for it because they couldn't understand it, but they could feel it. I said, did it make you feel bad? And they said, no, it's actually beautiful. There's like a song that I sing. Um, I got this one when I was preparing for my second Sundance. And my friend at that time, Pam, when she was alive, and Tammy put me up on the hill on her property. And this is when I got the white divine mist that came into my tent area where I was. And I was like, I've heard about this white mist. So there's this scene in Excalibur, the original Excalibur movie, where Merlin comes in and tricks Arthur's um, sister to speak the spell of making. And he tricks her to speak it. So she would release herself from her powers and being young looking. So when she starts speaking it, there's this white mist that comes out of her mouth that creates this fog. And then what happens, it takes and dispowers her, and she becomes this like old hag looking person. Because that's what Merlin wanted her to do. But that didn't happen to me. It was like this mist was coming out and it was just emanating in my lodge. It was like, whoa, I can see that. I said it has nothing to do with being cold because usually if it just comes out, it's just you can see it and then it's gone. This kept coming out every time I was singing. So it's a song called Milay Milejo. And I remember when I was given the words on it, I was peeking out and the sun was just coming up and I could see the dew and the trees and it was cold and but it was like I was in between the worlds and I could see the ancestors were walking across the land, greeting the sun. And this song is all about calling you back, calling you. So let me see where we are. Okay. I'm gonna make it really short. And it goes like this. Milay maleo, milay maleo, de I no keo, milay maleo, milay maleo. So I call to each direction, like I'm calling for you. Come, come, come with me. Come, come, come with me. Malay maleo, malay maleo, ne I o te o milay maleo. Malay, 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 oh, malay, malay, the IOTO, malay, malay, IOT, malay, 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 the IOTO, malay, malay, IOT, malay, malay. Malay, Malaya, Malay, Malaya, Ayate, Malay, Malaya, Ayate, Malay, Malaya, Malay, Malaya, Malay, Malaya, Ayate, Malay, Malaya, Ayate, Malay, Malaya. Oh, yeah. So that's a song that is calling the ancestors. Come, come with me. I call you. Come rise with me. Come, let us see the sun together. Let us smile. Let us be together. I love you. I love you. So when I sing that song, I see them. And when I sing that song, it's funny when I sing it in a lodge, people are like, where's that song? Why is that song make you feel so good? Why is that? what does it mean? And I just remember when I got that song, I was just like, wow. And I sung it. And I remember Tammy and Pam, they heard me singing it and they felt it. And they said, I don't know what you were singing, but everything just got real quiet. And then when you stopped, all the birds came out and everything was just like all excited. And so there's medicine in our voice when we sing and when we stand in the truth of ourselves and we represent that. And I've been a little I'm getting pushed more to really share more of my light language and my divineness of my Heka, of how I use that. Because we're moving into more higher frequencies and things are going to get a little bit more intense. It's really going to be pushing us. Yeah, you're going to have days where you have to rest. Yeah, you're going to have days where you feel like, I don't want to participate. You're going to have those days, I just want some key lime pie. Hell yes. Yes, please. You're going to have those moments, but don't beat yourself up. Don't think you have to be like somebody else or be at this rate with someone else. Don't do that to yourself. Whatever creator, divine Father, Mother, God says for you, have put you on your path, that's yours to do. That's your medicine. And no one can take that away from you. Let them say what they want to say. Let them scurry along. Let them say what they got to say. But you stand strong and you stay in your light and you do what is divinely right. That's how you walk your path. That's how you be true to yourself. And that's how you become a good servant, being of service for others, as well as being a service of yourself. Stay healthy, take time out when you need to take time out, change things up when you need to, and to be in your truth. Does that make sense? Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Okay, so take what I said, what resonated with you, leave it. This is my truth of why I got off my knees and stopped kneeling in those timelines. I don't do that. I believe in the divine source of Mother, Father, God that comes through me, that is part of everything of that divineness. I believe in truth. I believe in justice. And I believe what you do comes back around to you. And I believe karma has a special little something something for the ones that think that they got away from karma because they put it in a movie or a song so they wouldn't have to pay the price for it. No, 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 no. It's coming for you. Especially, it's coming for you. You didn't escape it. Oh no, honey. It's coming. And all of us gonna be holding our glasses high with some good old lemonade, sitting looking at the sun, saying, now, that's how you shine. That's how you make that light so divine. All right, lovelies. Be so light. Be good to yourselves. Much love. Um, I will come on tomorrow and do readings tomorrow. I will do them in the morning because I'm going to want to be doing morning reads. So probably around 11. I'll be on here at around 11. If you want to get some good reads in, I'll be more than happy to point that down, give you some cards, point that out for you. If you would like to have a session with me, you can go to galacticspirallight.com. Easy. Go email me there. I'll get a little beep on my thing and we could talk about spiral light healing. We could talk about how to, I don't know, get that body up there, get yourself going. Be true to yourself. Much love to all of you. Thanks for showing up and being here in these interesting times. Yes, it's about to get really, really good. Oh, I think we better talk about some popcorn. Maybe. All right, lovelies.